Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2201 would provide for the FFA distinctive license plate, a new license plate that would be eligible for individuals to apply for starting in January 1 of 2026. As part of customary for the plates, there would be a license plate royalty fee established by the Kansas FFA Foundation, an amount between $25 to $100 as an annual fee. This license plate, like all other distinctive license plates, will be subject to the usual requirements, whereby initial issuance guarantee of 250 plates and a payment of up to $5,000 to the Division of Vehicles prior to the division producing the plates. The sponsoring organization would work with the Division of Vehicles to provide a design for the license plate. The logo use royalty payments would be made to the county treasurer, which would then be credited to the Kansas FFA Foundation. And again, this plate would become, the law would become effective, but new plates would not be, applications could not be made until January 1 of 2026. And with that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Committee questions for Adam? Seeing none, thank you. First up in proponents, we have Beth Gaines. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Peterson, Vice Chair Clues, members of the committee. Thank you for giving us a few minutes this morning to speak to our passion about agriculture education and FFA and the importance of this in our state. I serve as the Executive Director of the Kansas FFA Foundation. I've been in this role since 2017, a second-generation FFA member and a proponent of agriculture education, and my children were proudly the third, and we've all benefited from that opportunity and the skills that we have gained during that experience that take us where we are today. Agriculture and education in Kansas continues to expand. We are currently have active programs in 103 of 105 counties. In the 2025-26 school year, we are excited to welcome Edwards County and the school district of Kinsley to our ranks. So we're edging ever closer to having an agriculture education program in each and every Kansas county. This growth underscores the increasing demand for high-quality agriculture education and the need to equip students with the skills necessary to succeed in our state's largest economic sector, agriculture. Beyond the classroom, the value of Kansas FFA is evident across the state. The officers and I were here during National FFA Week just a couple weeks ago, and during that week, we had Give FFA Day on Thursday, and we received a donation from each and every county in Kansas, a proud testament to the widespread support and belief of the mission of FFA, regardless of the zip code. The level of commitment demonstrates how deeply Kansans recognize the impact of agriculture education in shaping the next generation of leaders and workforce professionals. This bill provides a unique opportunity to build on our support by allowing Kansas residents to also showcase their pride in agriculture and FFA through the specialty license plate. The funds generated from these plates will support the expansion and essential operations of Kansas FFA, the premier workforce development organization that prepares young people for careers in agriculture, agribusiness, and related industries. The initiative, though, is more than a way to generate funding. It is a statement of pride and investment in the future of our industry. By supporting this bill, you ensure that agriculture education continues to thrive and provide students with leadership training, hands-on learning experiences, and career preparation that will benefit our rural and urban communities. As a note, and the officers will share with you a little bit, you might be surprised to find where our largest FFA chapter in the state comes, and it is not in a place where production agriculture is overly prevalent in Sedgwick County, Kansas. A decade ago, there was not a single agriculture education program in Sedgwick County. Today, there are 5, with the potential of having 6 in a 6A school. So the desire to take part in agriculture education, regardless of your zip code, is very evident. On behalf of the Kansas FFA and thousands of students who's going to benefit from this initiative, I sincerely appreciate your consideration and support of HB 2201. Your leadership will make a lasting impact on the future of agriculture education and workforce development and questions. Thank you for your time, and I would welcome any questions that you might have.
Committee will take questions at the end. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Laura Miller. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you for having me. My name is Laura Miller. I teach at Junction City High School, and I also represent the Kansas Association of Agricultural Educators as the 2025 president. So thank you for letting me speak today. On behalf of the over 300 instructors and FFA advisors across the state of Kansas, I'm excited to endorse and support HB 2201. This bill will enable Kansas FFA to receive its specialty license plate, allowing supporters to display their commitment to agricultural education proudly. As you know, ag is, vital and a backbone to our state. This place allows individuals from all walks of life to support and celebrate our industry. FFA chapters across 103 counties with a state membership of over 13,600. And I believe that number is increasing this spring. Over the past decade, our membership in numbers continue to surge. This bill will foster engagement between rural and urban communities and increase awareness of FFA's impact in Kansas. The Kansas FFA Foundation, led by Beth, has done some amazing things. They aid students in developing leadership skills, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. I can honestly say my students have personally benefited from the gifts received through scholarships and grants sponsored by the Kansas FFA Foundation. And I have students from all levels of life, from your very privileged children to low SES. And Junction City, as you know, is a very military culture. I have lots of transient students as well. But every single one of them benefit when they come into my classroom. They take part in FFA and are able to benefit from Kansas FFA Foundation gifts. Another reason why I'm very passionate about this bill. They have the chance to attend leadership conferences, receive their official FFA jacket, support their supervised agricultural experience programs, all thanks to the funding provided by the foundation. Revenue from this specialty plate will support FFA's mission, enhance scholarship and leadership programs, and chapter activities, and provide essential resources for the organization, enabling us to continue our workforce development efforts. This is critical as the demand for the foundation's programming grows while its budget remains relatively the same. So another great source of income. Furthermore, agriculture is the backbone of Kansas's economy, generating billions in revenue and supporting thousands of jobs. The industry requires a strong and well-prepared workforce to meet those increasing demands. Kansas FFA plays a key role in training future leaders in agriculture, agribusiness, and related fields. Therefore, the specialty plate addresses workforce needs and supports Kansas's largest endeavor. I am confident that granting Kansas FFA its sole specialty license plate will benefit our state and student organization. So when you are considering this bill, I hope the only answer that comes to mind is yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good morning, Chairman Peterson. My name is Linda Chase. I've taught agriculture education in the state of Kansas for 27 years. I currently serve as a legislative chair for the Legislative Committee with the Kansas Association of Agriculture Educators. I am proud to voice my support and the full support of the members of the KAAE for House Bill 2201, which proposes the creation of a distinctive FFA license plate. The legislation will not only celebrate the dedication and hard work of the FFA members across our state, but will provide a unique and opportunity to raise funds through the direct benefit agriculture education programs, which are located across our state. As someone who has witnessed firsthand the profound impact of FFA on young people's lives, my children were both in FFA members. I can confidently say that the initiative will play a crucial role in supporting the next generation of agriculture leaders. FFA fosters vital skills in leadership, responsibility, and community involvement, all while instilling a deep respect for agriculture and its importance in our society. I was not fortunate enough to attend high school that had an FFA chapter. I was at a big 6A school in Derby, which we're still working on to try to get an agriculture program started. But I had the opportunity to live and be raised on a farm and have a father who was in FFA. And hearing all of his stories and knowing what it was like for him gave me the ability to decide to go into agriculture education. And so with that, I know many families across our state have similar stories, and this license plate will tie and bring up those stories and memories that those families can see as they're driving down the Kansas highways, which is kind of inspiring when I think back to one of the first years we went to Louisville, Kentucky with my FFA kids. They saw a Kentucky license plate with the FFA emblem on it, and they asked, why don't we have one of those in Kansas? So it's been, gosh, I don't know how many years, but it's going to be nice to be able to see that possibly come to fruition now. The revenue generated from the sale of these specialty plates will provide much-needed resources to strengthen and expand our FFA programs. The funds will help support scholarships, support opportunities for students to travel, to enhance the hands-on learning experiences for these students pursuing careers in agriculture, by driving awareness and provide and pride in FFA through the simple yet effective fundraising effort. We're investing in the future of agriculture and the leaders who shape it. House Bill 2201 will not only provide a creative way for individuals to show their support for FFA, but it also allows us to honor the values of hard work, community, and tradition that there are in FFA. It'll serve as a representation of our state's agricultural roots. I strongly urge all lawmakers to pass House Bill 2201, as it will provide the lasting benefits to agriculture education and to the countless students who will go on to make a difference in the agriculture industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Senator Peterson and members of the Transportation Committee. I'm Quinn Browning. I'm currently serving as the State Secretary, and I'm here today because I really think that the support of this license plate is very vital, and the members of FFA should be able to have something to advocate for this. And the legislation will make it possible for young people to have another opportunity to educate and advocate for agricultural across Kansas. FFA equips its members with personal growth opportunities along with leadership and career development events that help set them up for the workforce. As a Kansas FFA state officer, I have the opportunity to meet members across the state and hear their stories about agriculture and how it has had an impact on their lives. With there being FFA chapters in 103 out of 105 counties and more schools chartering a chapter every year, it is vital we provide more ways that we can advocate for the organization that helped them find their passions. Kansas FFA has seen exponential growth over the past decade with almost 14,000 members and 239 chapters. A Kansas FFA license plate is more than just a way to register a vehicle. It is a symbol of support for agricultural education and leadership in the state. By purchasing this specialty plate, individuals contribute to scholarships, leadership programs, and career development events for the Kansas FFA members. The funds raised help equip young leaders with the skills needed to succeed in agriculture, business, and community service. Additionally, the plate promotes awareness of the FFA organization, encouraging others to recognize and support its mission of preparing future generations for success in the agricultural industry. I know there are a lot of specialty license plates already, but if someone has a passion, I feel they should be able to support and advocate for it. So I ask you to not only pass this bill, but support it, the Kansas FFA license plate HB 2201, not just because of the revenue it would create, but where that revenue is going to go. It will go to the students and supporting them. And in FFA, we have a motto: living to do, doing to learn, earning to live, and living to serve. I encourage you to look at this motto and see how you could help advocate for Kansas FFA youth and support the license plate. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and the committee. My name is Natalie Bray, and Senator Bowers is my faithful leader where I hail from. But I am here today expressing my encouragement on House Bill 2201. This legislation isn't just about adding another specialty plate. It's about investing in the success of young people across Kansas. FFA is an organization that welcomes anyone regardless of background or future career path and provides opportunities that shape students into strong, capable leaders. FFA is often associated with agriculture, but its impact reaches far beyond that. It is leadership, it is service, it is opportunity. As a state officer, I have witnessed from all walks of life step into this organization and discover their potential. Whether they dream of becoming farmers, veterinarians, business owners, engineers, or public speakers, FFA equips them with the skills, confidence, and connections to lead successful lives and careers. This foundation for growth lies in the school-based agricultural education model, which blends classroom lab learning, hands-on workplace experiences through students' supervised agricultural experiences, also known as your SAE, and FFA involvement. These three components work together to prepare students for real-world challenges and situations. Our dedicated teachers play a crucial role in guiding students through each of these areas, ensuring they not only learn, but thrive in a wide range of fields. Passing this bill would create a sustainable way to invest in youth success, something that benefits not just FFA members, but entire communities. Other states, such as Missouri and Oklahoma, have successfully implemented FFA specialty plates, using the funds to provide scholarships, leadership trainings, and hands-on learning experiences within the classrooms. I believe that Kansas should do the same. In fact, Kansas FFA's largest chapter isn't in a rural town. It's at Wichita Southeast High School, located in our state's largest city, with more than 400 FFA members. This shows that FFA is not just for students in rural areas. It is for students from cities, suburbs, and small towns alike. The Kansas FFA license plate would allow supporters to proudly showcase the impact of this organization while directly funding opportunities that change students' lives. Some may question whether adding another specialty plate is necessary. I believe the answer is simple. If people believe in an organization, they should have the opportunity to support it. Kansas FFA has over 13,700 high school members and thousands more alumni, educators, and supporters who would proudly display this plate. The revenue generated would directly fund opportunities that help students become leaders in their schools, communities, and future careers. I urge you to support the Kansas FFA distinctive license plate, House Bill 2201, not just for this organization, but for students it serves. FFA is shaping the next generations of leaders, problem solvers, and innovators. The lessons learned and the experiences gained in this organization do not just benefit members today, but they lay the foundation for a stronger future. In FFA, we often talk about planting seeds for trees whose shade we may never sit under, investing in something that will outlive us, knowing it will provide opportunities for those who come after. This bill ensures that more young people from all backgrounds and career paths have access to experiences that will prepare them for success. Thank you, and I highly urge you of supporting this bill, HB 2201.
Thank you. Chairman Peterson and esteemed members of the Transportation Committee. My name is Haley Hines. I've been an FFA for 5 years now, and I'm currently serving as the 2024-2025 State Vice President. And Quinn and I are proud to hail from Senator Tyson's area. I stand in front of you today in support of House Bill 2201, which offers the installation of a FFA license plate. This bill would not only allow additional funds for the association, but it will create representation across the state for an organization that helps build the future leaders of tomorrow's agriculturalists. My family's journey in the Blue Jacket started back in the 1950s. My great-grandparents were members of the Olathe chapter, including my granny. My granny's tie to FFA is the most inspiring, seeing as that women were not allowed to officially join the National FFA organization until 1969. In the year 1954, my granny was named the chapter sweetheart and was given a white necklace with a gold FFA emblem in the center. She saw the value this organization holds and has kept the necklace all these years. At the conclusion of my freshman year chapter banquet, I was told this impactful story as I was gifted the chapter sweetheart necklace. When receiving the necklace, I did not see the value right away. After that night, I began to create my own journey in the blue and gold jacket. While I've lived on a farm my whole life, driving a tractor and working livestock was never something I was passionate about. But I saw the value in agriculture, so I decided to become an advocate for the industry. It was my way of supporting the individuals who allow us to live our daily lives. As I continue to zip up my blue jacket, I have realized the importance of my Granny Sweetheart necklace. It does not just mark the honor of being chapter sweetheart. It marks the determination, passion, leadership, and grit this organization empowers students of all kinds to have. It marks the beginning of tomorrow's leaders. The 2022 Census of Agriculture found that less than 9% of agricultural producers in America are under the age of 35. Kansas FFA equips members with the skills needed to continue feeding an ever-growing population through agriculture education. It allows members to find their passions, step outside of their comfort zones, and make lasting impacts on their communities. While there are an abundance of license plates on the road, the FFA license plate is a new opportunity to provide education, opportunities, and lifetime memories to students across the state of Kansas. I am in continued support of allowing FFA to have a specialty plate, and I urge each of you to make an impact in the agricultural industry by passing House Bill 2201. Thank you.
Committee, do we have any questions? Senator Argabright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just comments, not questions. You kids did a nice job, and I hope each and every day you thank your teachers, your parents, and your grandparents. And you referenced zipping that coat up every day. I can't even get mine on. So that was, I appreciate that positive thought. There may be still hope, I don't think so, but thank you for your testimony, learning to serve. Nice job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your presentation. I was sitting here thinking, at our age, life isn't about our dreams and aspirations anymore, but it's about young people like yourselves. And I was thinking, clear back, I was the city kid that came from Allentown, Pennsylvania to Miltonville, and one of my first classes was FFA. So my question is, back then, we had to memorize the creed to be part of that. Do you guys still do that?
We do, yeah. That's how I earned my first jacket, was being the first person in my chapter to memorize the creed.
Sweet, that's awesome. I still remember my teacher's name. His name was John Mars, and he was very influential. And for a young man at that time, my parents went through a divorce, moved all the way, like I said, from Pennsylvania to Kansas. It was an impressionable part of my life. It was a short mentorship, and so it's just a delight to hear you guys, and I don't know how I could vote this bill down, so anyhow, thank you.
Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. I have to say I'm very impressed with your written testimony also. Can anybody tell me what the license plate, is there a design for it, or do you have something in mind?
We're not going to overcomplicate this. It's going to be an FFA shield and agriculture education. We're not going to get cutesy with it. We are what we stand for. Most people recognize the shield. And we want to tie that if our concern was living to serve, for those of us who've been in, they understand that's a model. But if you're not familiar with that organization, you don't understand that tie. But agriculture education makes a point as to what that emblem stands for. And without an agriculture education program, an approved pathway, an FFA chapter is not possible. It is an integral part of the three-circle model. So you won't see an FFA club anywhere that there is not an established and approved agriculture education program. So it's very important that we keep those things connected together.
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, Haley, Quinn, Natalie, you guys did an excellent job. And Quinn, when you asked us to participate in getting a license, that was a home run. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Byers, did you have a question?
No, but I could make a comment, Mr. Chairman. So just wanted to let the committee know that Natalie was my page several years ago. And one thing I started when I came here, this is my 17th year, was keeping a notebook on all my page pictures. So Natalie, maybe we can find time to go find you. So thank you for coming and participating in our process. Thank you.
Senator Cluse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one last thing. I noticed when I drove into the Capitol this morning, I saw that awesome FFA truck. So I'd like to know a little bit more about that. I remember seeing it. It seems like it's been a few years way out west somewhere. How many of those trucks do you have, and can you help us on that a little bit?
The AKA rolling billboard. If you've seen it, you know you've seen it. There's a sign inside.
You're going to need to come up to the microphone so people online can hear.
Very good. Absolutely. I want everybody to hear that story, so I'm glad to be here. My name is Beth Gaines, and I'm the Executive Director of the Kansas FFA Foundation. The rolling billboard, AKA the FFA truck, is a great partnership with our friends at Midwest Ford. So they gift us a truck every 3 years that we use to travel the state, carry the state officers to events, and really work to promote and celebrate agriculture education in the FFA. And there's there's a sign inside the truck that says, just smile and wave, because you would be surprised at the number of times that people will zip around us in the FFA truck and wave. And it's like, I have no idea who that person is, but they recognize the FFA symbol and are excited to be a part of that. So it's a great benefit to us provided through our friends at Ford.
Thank you. Committee, further questions? Just wanted to let you know that normally we do not allow people to just read their testimony, but these were so well written and they were written from the heart. Wasn't going to stop anyone. You did a great job. Thank you. Committee note, we have written only testimony from Carla Dawn Stover, Claudia Hissong, and Sage Chews. Is there any further proponents? Any opponents? Any neutrals? We'll close the hearing on 2201. Committee, I'd like to work a couple of bills today, or at least try. Adam, let's try 2030 off the bat if we can. Can you give us a refresher?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2030 would exclude dealers and manufacturers of trailers from certain provisions of the Vehicle Dealers and Manufacturers Licensing Act. As we heard, there's certain provisions under the Dealers and Manufacturers Licensing Act. There's approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 or so that that will be excluded from dealers of trailers would be excluded from the provisions. However, the remaining provisions of the act, dealers of trailers would be subject to.
Committee questions for Adam? Committee, what's your pleasure on this bill? Motion to move it out favorably or to
Do you
amend?
need anything changed? Was going to be my question.
Senator Tyson, let's see. 2030, we heard it yesterday on the trailer dealers. We probably ought to change the date just to be sure for the register. If it,
Would you like me to make that motion first? That we
Yes.
change, okay. Mr. Chair, I move that on House Bill 2030, we change the date to the register.
do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Bowers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the bill is amended. Now we're looking for a motion to move it out. Senator Dietrich.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I would move that we pass out House Bill 2030 as amended favorably for passage.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Cluse. Further discussion on the bill? See none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. The bill's moved out favorably. Senator Clays, would you be kind enough to carry this one? Thank you. I've been asking folks with my knees being bad to carry a lot of the bills for. Hey, I'd like to turn our attention, I believe, to 119 was the treasurer's bill. Adam, could you give us a briefing on it? And I may ask if we have someone in the audience that could give us a briefing on what's been going on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 119, as you may recall, increases the amount deposited into special funds for expenses from both license applications and applications for certificates of title that are performed by county treasurers, division of vehicles, or contractors for processing such items. Currently, there is a 75-cent license application. Essentially, the retention would be raised from 75 cents to $5.75. And then the applications for certificate of title would be raised from the current $2 to $3.50.
There's been Steve Carney, could you come up and let us know what's been going on? There was a lot of concern that this bill was gonna take 16 million a year out of the highway fund, and
Yeah,
I know you've been working.
we have been working on it. Chairman Peterson, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to address this issue. I'm Steve Kearney. I'm appearing here on behalf of the Kansas County Treasurers Association. And since the bill hearing, we have been working along with the Kansas Contractors Association and others to work through this problem. And I have a document here that the Department of Revenue gave us, Chairman, if I might.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I can give that to Florence. So following the hearing, Department of Revenue provided us with this document. And first, what I want to tell you is what we've been working on does not impact the highway fund or take any dollars away from the highway fund. This document from the Department of Revenue, there's a lot of information on it. I hate being at this age, but I'll put my glasses on so I can read anyway. And I would refer you really to the very last bit on the first page. It says transactions for vehicle services, county treasurers, Kansas Vehicle Title Service Corporation. So there's really three entities that process titles in the state of Kansas. The Department of Revenue no longer does that and hasn't done it since, I don't know, around 2012 or so. They closed their front counter. Many of their employees went to work for some of these other private agencies. So if you refer to that, since that time, more and more duties have been transferred over to the county treasurers. And the fees, however, have not been adjusted, nor has the apportionment of the fees. And that's really what this bill does. It does not raise the fees. It just changes the apportionment of the fees and leaves a higher percentage with the treasurers, who are really the ones performing the lion's share of these duties. Now you can see 724, almost 725,000 titles that were actually processed by the counties. It's about 86% or thereabouts of the titles that are processed. On the back, KDOR showed what they've been receiving since 2024, and even though they had a reduction in their duties, et cetera, and have had for some time, with more and more of those duties going to the counties and the treasurers and local county taxpayers having to pick up that difference, they've not had a reduction in the dollars they're getting. And as you wade on down through that, you'll see that the funds being used for such things as even help pay the alcohol beverage control, which I'm not sure what that has to do with titles and registrations. But anyway, we feel like this document from them kind of paints the picture about what's taking place. The treasurers across the state are in excess of $16 million upside down. And those are dollars that are being paid by local property tax payers. So what we've done is this kind of a two-step dance, if you will, members and chairman. Senate Bill 119 doesn't raise the fees, it just adjusts the amount that the treasurers retain. So that does mean then that less dollars flow eventually through sort of a complicated transfer of monies over to KDOT, but KDOT would then transfer less to KDOR. They would transfer $16 million over the course of a year less to KDOR for these duties that have been pushed down to the treasurers. So the second part of this is that we've been working with the folks in Ways and Means. We have an amendment there where quarterly the transfer from KDOT to KDOR, from the highway fund, if you will, to KDOR would be less. It would be adjusted in the budget. So the highway fund, the underlying piece of all that is the highway fund remains whole. And the treasurers, excuse me, the local county folks that are acting as agents of the state and on behalf of the state of Kansas, local county taxpayers could have relief from that. And I don't know if we've been working along with the contractors as well, if Michael has anything he wants to add, but be happy to answer any questions.
Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the treasurers have been working on this for quite some time. I very much appreciate the innovation and the solution proposed.
Thank you.
Glad to support this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Have anything, comments? We just got to make sure that the piece for the transfer makes it through.
That's right.
Ways and Means.
Right. And at the pace everything is going, we don't really have the luxury to kind of string things out one after the other. They almost need to be happening contemporaneously, and that's what we're pursuing very, very actively. Michael and I just met with the chair in Ways and Means earlier in the week, and the Senate President and others. So this is a package.
You're confident we can make that happen?
Yeah. As a package, this is ready to go. Yeah.
It's Michael White, contractor.
Mr. Chairman, Michael White, Executive Director of the KCA. I actually have the amendment that will be, in Ways and Means, the chairman and the Senate President have asked us to have this drafted. If anyone wants a copy, I can pass that out and you guys can have that as well. Like Mr. Carney said, it's a two-step process. To keep the process moving, we need this bill to pass, and then we'll make sure that this gets, as best we can, make sure it gets in the budget bill, and then that'll keep the process moving forward over to the House. So we are supportive of this two-step process.
Committee, what's your pleasure on this bill? The amendment will be in Ways and Means. And I don't believe this one needs it's a Senate bill, so we don't need anything. Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make the motion to move out Senate Bill 119 favorably for passage. I don't think it's consent and calendar material, do you?
No, we don't.
Okay. Thank you.
Senator Argybright, seconds. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. I would like to thank Senator Bowers for volunteering to carry this one on the floor.
I'd be thrilled to.
I believe you have the most treasures of anyone in the on the committee.
Great relationship.
Excellent. Committee, we can turn our attention to, did we get the information we needed on 2168? Yeah, let's get a quick briefing on that one. That was the blackout license plate. We've had it. And can you give us just a quick briefing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2168 would create the new blackout license plate. As a reminder, there would be a $50 additional $50 fee that would go towards the license plate replacement fund administered by the Secretary of Revenue.
Committee, this one we probably need to move the effective date up on to get it in the register. I'd like a motion for that if it's someone.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I move.
It's been moved that we change the effective date to the register from the statute book. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Klemp. Further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Amendment is adopted. Committee, what's your pleasure on this bill? Senator Cleese.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we move 2168 out favorably for passage.
As amended.
As amended.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Klemp. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Chair is in doubt. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? 4-3, the bill's moving forward. Thank you, committee. With that should about catch us up for today. I know we were waiting some information on, was it 2222? 2122? Adam, could you give us a briefing on 2222?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2222 would require that ignition interlock device manufacturers pay fees to the state, especially the State Highway Patrol, for the administration of the ignition interlock program, essentially unless has been excluded by a person who the division determines to be eligible for reduced ignition interlock device program costs. A one-time fee of $10 would be assessed, and a per-month fee of $5 would be assessed, going towards the IID fee program fund administered by the Superintendent of the Highway Patrol.
Committee, what's your pleasure on this bill? Senator Dietrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would move that we pass on HB 2222 favorably for passage.
Seconded by Senator Warren. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Senator Clem.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate, or House Bill 2122, we had talked about doing an amendment on that. I had some great conversations with Revenue, so I think there's no amendment coming on that, from my perspective on what we were talking about. Which I think was to move the time limit to 30 days to pay your quarterly payments. Just wanted to let you know that.
Into it, then we got 3 minutes. 2122, Adam. I believe it's a bill that conforms the two interstate and intrastate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, House Bill 2122 would modify the threshold limit for allowing quarterly payments of the annual registration fees for certain trucks and tractor owners. It also removes a 2-quarter grace period for delinquent quarterly payments. Under existing law, essentially, if the registration fee would exceed $100, that could be paid in quarterly payments. The threshold is raised from $100 to $300. Also under current law, the quarterly registration payments are not considered delinquent until an owner fails to make any 2 quarterly payments during the registration year. This would be essentially removed, and whereby the quarterly payments would be delinquent if not paid within 10 days after the quarterly payment is due.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we move House Bill 2122 forward favorably.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Or further discussion, Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was some questions raised during the hearing, or when we brought this up previously, and I had concerns over it. So is it they cannot set up the payments if it's the $300, or could you explain that again, Adam? I want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly on the limit and then the fines.
Adam, can you explain the threshold?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, currently there's if the registration fee would exceed $100, my reading is it can be broken up into quarterly payments. So, anything $100 or more. So by raising the $100 to $300, so anything $300 or less than $300 would have to be paid at one time. Anything $300 or greater could be distributed or paid over a quarterly payment, so broken up into 4 payments over the year. If that answers the question.
And the fine for lack of payment? That seemed a little aggressive, I thought.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, there's currently a provision where you essentially had to be 2 quarterly payment. If they failed to pay 2 quarterly payments, essentially there was a grace period, and that under the bill would be removed.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Do you wish to be recorded? Motion carries. Committee, that wraps up our work for today. Thank you.